The Farmer Who Loved His Wife, written by Florian A. Ancio, inspired for his love for his beloved Natalie. Once upon a time, when England's hills were still thick with wild hedgerows and the rivers whispered secrets to the willows, there lived a farmer and his beloved wife. The farmer was not born into ease. Life had carved with him hardships, scars from a lonely childhood, lessons learned from hunger and toil. Yet through all the jagged roads he had walked, something within him endured, a quiet strength, a hunger for love, and a heart that refused to harden. And then came the night he met Natalie. Oh, how he loved her. He would say her voice is a song for his soul to dance to. Her breath was the whisper of the wind through ancient trees. And her eyes, oh, her eyes were the only ocean he wished to drown in forever. In her he had found one thing he'd been searching for his whole life: home. To him, Natalie was more than a woman. She was a hush before dawn, the first flowers in spring, the magic of the moon, every star illuminating her beauty. With her, life was no longer survival, it was an adventure, and with him she had found a joy that felt endless. They soon married, and together they began the greatest journey of their lives, building a life together side by side. Their land was humble, but full of promise. Natalie tended the cottage and looked after the animals, her hands always gentle, her laughter filling every corner of their home. The farmer worked the land, his back bent beneath the sun, his heart set on the dream of feeding both their home and their hopes. At night, after long days, he returned to her. They ate simple meals, and when the candles burned low, he would whisper, "My darling, I will make us proud. I will grow the richest crops this land has ever seen. We will have enough for our family, for our life we have dreamed of, for you, for me, for us, and our beautiful animals. I love you, Natalie." And then she would press her lips to his and say softly, "I love you too. Good night, my beautiful husband." But the earth can be cruel, and one morning when he went to his fields, the farmer's heart broke. Nothing had grown. The ground stretched barren, mocking his every effort. He sank to his knees and bowed his head. And though he had not prayed for many years, he looked up to the heavens and prayed. After his prayer he rose again, for he is not a man that will surrender willingly. Day after day he worked. Harder and harder he worked too, blistering his hands, aching his bones, trying once more to coax life from the stubborn soil. Natalie saw the shadow in his eyes when he came home each night. She kissed him tenderly and she said, "Don't despair, my love. Go to the market tomorrow and buy fresh seeds." Her faith in her beloved husband was like a fire in the middle of winter, fierce and unyielding. So the next morning he set off to town beneath the golden sky. All the way he thought of Natalie, the one true anchor of his soul. But when he arrived at the seed seller's stall, it was shuttered and closed. The farmer stood there, despair heavy in his chest. "Dear Lord," he cried, "how can I tell my wife I have failed her again?" As he turned, he felt eyes upon him, A man stood nearby, cloaked in grey, with hair like snow and eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 years. "You look troubled," said the old man. The farmer, weary and with no pride left, told him everything. His barren fields, his endless labour, his fear of letting down the woman he loved more than his own life. The old man listened, then reached into his coat and drew out a small bag and placed it in the farmer's hands. "Plant these tonight," he said, "beneath the moon and stars, and go home to your wife." That night, under the sky, bright with starlight, the farmer sowed the seeds. The moon glowed like a lantern above him, and with every handful of soil pressed into the earth, he whispered the name of Natalie. By the time he had finished, his body ached, but his heart was strangely light. He kissed his wife's forehead as she lay sleeping, and drifted finally off into the land of dreams. At dawn he raced towards the fields. What he saw stole his breath away. Before him stretched waves of gold, crops tall and proud, shimmering like sunlight caught in the stalks. A harvest finer than any had ever known the land would bear. It was alive, and it sang with abundance. He ran to Natalie. Come and see." Together they stood in the fields, hand in hand, tears of joy in their eyes. The farmer's voice shook as he whispered, "This is enough, my love, enough for us, for our animals, and the family we have built together." That night they feasted on not just food, but on joy. When market day came, the farmer's stall overflowed with bounty. Crowds gathered, marvelling, pointing and praising. By sundown, every grain was sold. The farmer's hand shook as he counted his coins. But more than money, his heart was full of gratitude. On his way back home, fate led him back to the old man. "Good heavens," the farmer cried, "you'll never believe it. My fields burst into life. Those seeds, they must have been magic." The old man laughed, the sound deep and kind. "Magic? No, my friend. Those were just ordinary seeds, same as any others. The truth lies not in the seeds, but in you." The farmer frowned. "In me? But how?" The old man looked at him steadily. "Because you loved," he said. "You loved enough to rise when others would fall. You loved enough to keep working when all hope seemed gone. You loved your wife so fiercely that even barren earth could not deny you. The moon and stars bore witness to your devotion, and it was not the seeds that answered you. It was the magic of love itself, the greatest magic the world has ever known." The farmer walked home slowly, his heart alight with wonder, and when he reached the cottage, Natalie was waiting at the door. He held her close and whispered against her hair. "I love you, Natalie," he replied. She looked into his eyes. Gazing at her husband, she said, "If you believe in magic, my beautiful husband, then of course you must believe in love and the magic of us." And so the farmer who loved his wife lived the rest of his days with her side by side, their lives rich with love, laughter, and the quiet miracle that had always been theirs from the very beginning: magic.